Hello everyone, my name is Suh Dong Hyeon. You may know how to behave when there is an earthquake or floods, but I want to ask you a question. What will you do after you hear this horrifying sound? This is especially relevant to everyone in this country because the leader of the North threatened the South with nuclear weapon every day. Today, I want to give you a life-saving instructions. First, I want to tell you about what should you do when nuclear missile hits you. And secondly, I want to give you a few tips after you survive the nuclear blast. First, let's assume that you are in the center of the explosion. If you are in the center of the explosion, actually, you don't need any device because you will literally evaporate. This huge ball is the fireball of the atomic bomb called bomber, and its diameter is 8 kilometers, and the temperature of it is almost the same as the temperature on the surface of the sun. And you don't have to be worried about the pain because you will evaporate faster than the speed of the neurons that convey the pain. Of course, there are very few cases of survivors, but they are protected from the explosion because they are in the deep basement under very thick concrete-made buildings like banks. Now, let's assume you are luckier than these people. Now, I want first to point out the meaning of near here. It means that you can see the fireball as well as the mushroom clouds of the nuclear blast. If you hear the siren of a nuclear attack, you need to find something to hide yourself in a few seconds. And if there is nothing that could protect you, you should make this posture. With this posture, you should sustain your body weight with your elbows, knees, and foot. And your bellies and the chest should not contact the ground. This helps you to protect your essential organs. Your eyes should also be closed, eyes wide open, and your eye hole should be plugged with your thumbs. And lastly, your foot should make a posture which resembles the letter T to protect your Achilles tendon. After you survive the blast, the first priority is to exclude yourself from the radioactive ashes. The best idea is to find the nearest shelter or the basement of the concrete-made building. If you live in a city like Seoul, it is very highly likely that you are in tall buildings like this. In such cases, you should go to the middle floor instead of the roof or the first floor because the radioactive ashes accumulate at the first floor or the roof of the building. After you reach the safe place, you should exclude yourself from radioactive dust. You should wear a mask and seal the room with duct tape. And let's assume that you are a lot luckier than these people. If you are in the area far away from the explosion, it may not be fatal in the very short run, but the deadly radioactive ashes can reach you in a few days or weeks. Take the example of Chernobyl nuclear accident. The radioactive ashes reached the Western and the Northern Europe and even Japan, although in small amount. And the most important thing, if you are in the Korea, never ever go to the southern east part of the Korean peninsula because the radioactive ashes will go to those places because of the northwest wind. And let's assume that you survived the blast. Then what? For getting information, use radio. It is a simple in structure and easy to use. And even if large, major broadcasting companies don't work, people can broadcast privately through the radio. And for food, the most important thing is to find food that is not contaminated by radioactive ashes. Organic food, it is highly contaminated radioactive ashes, and it will poison you internally. Instead, you should eat canned food and distilled water. It may hurt you in the long run, but survival is the best. And fuel is very important, especially in winter times. It can be a matter of life and death. Gasoline, LPG, or coal, anything is needed. And lastly, never ever go to the mountain or forest. Everything in those places is contaminated with radioactive ashes. In conclusion, if nuclear warning sign rings, please get into the basement of the concrete-made buildings and find something to protect yourself, or make this posture to reduce the damage. And if you survive the blast, seal your sector with duct tape and consume only canned food and distilled water, and never ever eat organic food. And use radio to get information and get as much fuel as possible to warm yourself. And do not ever go to the mountain or forest. Julius Robert Oppenheimer is in charge of nuclear weapon development in the US. He said this after he saw the nuclear test. If the radiance of 1,000 suns were to burst at once into the sky, that would be like the splendor of the mighty one. Now I have become death, the destroyer of the world. Nuclear war is the last thing the humankind wanted to happen. However, if it happens, survive. Thank you.